It's prime. We're 3 balls in, then we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route. Mighty gets a score, and O and PJ start to scout. Your rhyme's really trash. What do you think he's damn fouls? TBI the show, so buckle down, sit back. And Jay we trust, cause he's the leader of the pack. It's prime, Jupiter.
This is TBI 3 balls in alongside Logan and Davo. We are live back in the basement.
Where it all started.
Hopefully we'll be released by the end of the night. Who knows? It's Davo's dungeon. But we're back at it again.
You know, you host, you gotta thank you. We're so pissed.
It's so true.
I like Davo's gonna
Okay. Maybe we
Yeah, no, he's right. It's
Okay.
par for the course.
you want a drink?
I'm good. All right. So we had some leagues this past Sunday. Finally, leagues came back. We've got vets versus rooks this week. So let's start off. Let's talk about leagues though. Boys, your team played. You don't want to talk about it, do you?
I'll talk about it. We got killed.
Yeah. Any shock? No, any surprise there?
No.
No.
We were
No.
look, we were
I
look,
think
there's
also-
no excuses. We
I
got
think all-
beat. Let's first
But we all predicted it. I'm sorry. No, we all predicted last week you were going to lose. So
Yeah.
there's no shock. Yeah, you were going to say Logan? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, no, I like I don't want to make an excuse. We got beat. Like literally got our asses handed to us. So that's first and foremost, and good for Roll Tide.
It was
We were
closer- it was
down-
closer than the score showed.
I don't think that's true, but we were down a handful of men, and therefore I think it may not be as indicative a game as to predict the future. But we got killed.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. Mayor, Singer, and Jack, 2 of your top 3 picks, right? Singer was 1. Jack was the first pick in the 3rd round. Have not played in the 2 games against Roll Tide. Those are 2 of the best receivers and 2 best defenders in Jubal. So it's hard to say in a playoff matchup, which is going to be the first round matchup. It's hard to say that it's going to be the same results, But
We got killed.
But the proof is in the pudding. 2 games, 2 deaths. Yeah.
So I don't think we got killed like Logan says. It was 21-7.
He played the game. He'll know.
It was 21-7.
Yeah.
So we were down 2 scores, which is not a killing. And basically we had to go for it in our, it was either we score or we lose, and we didn't score. So, and then
Score or we lose, and that because we're getting killed.
meaning because
I know, no, I got it.
like the time
We got time. I get it.
So we had to go for it. So they got the ball back at
Yeah.
the 13 or something like that. They scored a quick touchdown, and then somehow they got the ball back after the game was over and scored another touchdown.
That's
but
okay. That's
yeah.
part of the game.
So I'm saying so like the last 2 touchdowns that they score were
Anyway,
like 30 yards total.
it wasn't a
maybe.
close game.
Yeah, listen.
No.
The reality is, it was probably a better played game than the first one you guys had.
Yeah.
Because Mighty left after like 15 minutes. So at least you had Mighty the whole game, and that kept you in it as long as it, like you said, as long as you did. Let's transition to the other game. Bob versus Lionhearts, also rematched. Their first game was a disaster. The game everybody wants to forget at Grease Park. 6-6 tie, but it was just dirty, disgusting. This was a complete opposite type of game where tempers were calm. People were getting along, no fighting, respecting calls, things that should be done. And you had a loss for Bob. They lost the game.
Said differently, your team won.
Exactly. Lionhearts were better on the field that day. That's it. They were the better team. Listen, Bop didn't have cut. That's a big loss. Goldberg is hurt. We're not sure if Goldberg makes a return this season. Hopefully he does. Lionhearts were missing Ivry. Even though Ivry showed up and was watching the game, he was unable to join the field and play. So it's hard to know. These 2 teams are going to be the first round matchup, obviously in the playoffs. Tie 1 game. Lionhearts win the other game. It's going to be a hard fought matchup in the playoffs. But this game was really just about your own. By the way, Wizard had a pick on your own. No shock there. Tabak had 2 extra point picks as well.
That don't count for anything.
They don't count for anything, but still noteworthy.
I think they should.
But outside of those 3 mistakes by your own, he threw a really good ball game. And Storm was doing his thing, didn't get a touchdown, was still doing his thing. And surprise, no comment. Okay, good. And then you had Sting stepped up with 2 touchdowns. Zada, had a touchdown. So your own getting the ball to his playmakers.
Right.
That was the most thing. DK's not known as a receiver, but DK had an unbelievable catch down the field. Between 2 defenders, really made a great catch.
Did he stay on his feet?
And
No, he's a K.
yeah, well,
He doesn't.
I actually think he did stand up, but he made it look probably harder than it had to be because he's a K.
He's a K.
But
By the way,
And
the Bop kind of being plagued a little bit by the injury bug.
Yeah,
Maybe that trade that they made at middle of the season is going to come back to bite them, right? They probably could have used a healthy body, instead of an expiring contract.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's something that the GM of BOP is going to have to think about, but
I think someone's not gonna get GM of the year.
your own. Okay. Needless to say, let's transition. Leagues are going to take a break because we have no idea when playoffs are going to be.
But I just want to shout that because that's the last thing that leagues. What I really enjoyed that once the game was over this week, everyone just came together.
Yeah.
We had a really great barbecue, Super Bowl barbecue. Thanks for everyone who brought things. The pajoppers were fantastic.
As they always are.
So much better
good.
fresh, by the way. But
like
3 a.m. and they were really good.
Like when you brought the first tray, I was like, is there a second one? Because I'm about to eat half of this. And it was fantastic. That's one of the things I love about Jew Ball the most is just the camaraderie and just the way that listen, whatever happens on the field happened. And the second you get off, there are no more fights and you just get into the game, get into the food and the drinking.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Fantastic.
O sponsors a cookboard. Leg sponsors a barbecue. Waldo brings drinks. Clink brought, I think, cutlery. Jordan brought a lot of other things as well.
We're gonna end up forgetting someone, and that's
the
intention is not
Davo, the sliders and the wings. I mean, the list goes on. I'm saying Ernie the drinks also. The list goes on and on. And all the people who wanted to step up and wanted to contribute. So I guess you're right. That's really what makes Jew Ball. After the game, it's the game is an hour and a half, 4 hour and 45 minutes, and then once the game's off, we're back to being buddies and friends, and that's why we do this, right? It's about bringing people together. All right,
and the paycheck.
You didn't get you didn't get your receipts, did you? I took off some money. Sorry. All right. Anyway.
Well, then I sponsored pajoppers.
All right. Let's jump into
take it up with HR, but just on that channel.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right. Let's jump into this. Vets versus Rooks. It's looking very different this year. Last year it was 20 somethings versus 30 somethings and older. You also had a combination of the classic Vets Rooks. This year, Jordan went a little Davo here, and I think so. And he decided, you know what? We're gonna have classes.
No, because I know
I got
my hand is flying.
We got the freshman class, the sophomore class, the junior class, and obviously the senior class. Like I said, Jordan going a little Davo here. You got the matchups of whoever wins these games will be TBD, play each other in a championship for who is the classic Vets Rooks. So it's pretty cool. I think this is a good concept. 10 years and older in Jew Ball, you're on the senior class, your first year, your classic first year, you're a freshie.
I think the weirdest part about all this right now is that the three of us are now considered vets, and I still don't get to be on the same side as Logan.
That's fair. Although the truth is, as long as Prime and Pringle are not on the vets, I don't know that I could be a vet. It feels weird, but I guess we'll get through that.
Mighty really doesn't want to be on your team.
Are you playing?
I think Mighty doesn't want to be against me. No, I'm not playing. My ankle still hurts.
Oh, shucks.
My ankle hurts. Anyways.
But wait, so I feel like the people who've played in Vets Rooks, they know what this is, but there's like a very big group of people, obviously the freshmen, but there's a handful of people who have not played in Vets Rooks. And I was trying to think about how best to describe it. And I was thinking about, I was like, is this like an all-star game? But the reality is, when you think about professional all-star games, there's no tackling, flag football this year, the NFL, who plays flag football? So it's not the same. I think the best way to describe it, because there's so much intensity and so much passion and pride that goes into it, it's almost like it's
Cold War.
Well, I was thinking more like the Olympics. Everyone is playing for their country, if you will. There's so much pride that goes into it. It's much more than just a game. It's much more than just a preseason game. It's much more than just an all-star game. It's an honor to be part of it. And really, I know we've had Red Sunday, but Vets Rooks is a hard-fought battle, and there's no other way to describe it. And I really hope this year the Rooks, who have never been part of it, really get to appreciate the true Vets Rooks intensity.
So I'm going to disagree with your Olympics analogy. And I think it's more like a steel cage match where you just throw everybody in and whoever happens to come out is the winner. I think it's just a bloody battle and you're going up, you're going down. There's bodies flying everywhere. But at the end of the day,
I mean, you still hug it out.
sure.
You know what? And also,
we still hate the Rooks.
listen, here's the reality. Last year, the Rooks won. They won the classic matchup, and then they obviously.
Slap the crap out of you.
Hey,
Just saying.
I mean, it was a love tap, not even a slap. But anyways, yeah, I mean, if you look at it, right? Last year, the Rooks obviously tied one game. They win the other game. They were the unanimous winner of last year. So Vets have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder because you can't lose 2 years in a row. But what's interesting about this matchup is that the juniors versus the seniors, which is, I think, probably the more interesting game, because the winner of this game does not get a bigger roster. Like, it's not like you combine the roster.
Right.
Like I honestly think the Rooks and the sophomores, like the freshies and the sophomores, I kind of feel like their rosters are stacked, right? And not to say these other rosters aren't stacked either, but it's almost like you almost are like if the juniors beat the sophomore, if the juniors beat the seniors, right?
When
If the juniors beat the seniors, like you're talking about Jordan not playing in that game.
I know that yeah.
You're talking about
Even like
Rep-
Mighty
you're
not
talking about,
playing.
like Mighty not playing, Singer not playing, like Munch not playing. Like there's so many names of like people who are not going to play. Davo, myself, like Steve-O, like it's kind of weird. And at the same token,
Clink Owen could, because that's who's left on the team that you didn't mention.
no, that's a good point, and also equally important as well. But then if you look at like the juniors, it's like, is Yaron really like, is he really vet enough to be the leader of the vets?
The better question is, can he win 2 games in a row?
Well, it won't be 2 games in a row. He will get a month off. So
Well, yeah, but
I got you. Listen, it's like
Can he win a championship?
well, let's see if he even gets to the championship in
Yeah.
this one, in this tournament at least. But
No, he'll cheat some way and get in. That's what he
But,
does.
but here's the thing. It's going to be interesting. If you've never played in this before, this is a new concept this year. We're hoping that this is maybe the staple of a future Jew Ball, is that Vets Rooks looks like this. Tournament style. You got a lot of people participating. Really, honestly, everyone's got a role playing. It's great. And this is great. And thank you, Jordan, for kind of getting a little Davo here.
yeah, my only hope, not my only hope, but like I just hope that like because the teams are now somewhat watered down, I just hope that we don't lose the intensity. Like, you know what I mean? Like some of these games, like you remember every single Vets Rooks, right? Like you look
Right.
back at Jordan's recaps, and obviously he writes them so well, but like those are games that like you remember. You may not remember you don't remember every game, but like you may not remember every game, but like Vets Rooks is something you always think back to, like, oh, we lost by this or we won by that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
By the way,
like
is
that.
it me or is Steve-O the MVP in every single one of those Vets Rooks?
I think
I like-
he
is, right?
averages
It's like
averages
his-
over 2 picks and a touchdown, and
Yeah.
that's about all.
That's like his game is Vets Rooks. So just incredible. But
Their stats this year though about it. I don't know. Question.
I want to transition away from Vets Rooks. It's exciting, it's fun. I want to get into something that I think might be a little controversial here. I hope will bring up some debate, and that is, should Jew Ball get even bigger? And I know people are thinking, all right, PJs, what are you smoking?
David,
no.
stop the microphone.
No, I know I sat next to Primer a lot last week, but that's not from it.
Contact.
And no, it's not that Davo and I have been agreeing a lot recently. It's that maybe Jew Ball should look at the success we've had and look at it and say, how can we make it bigger and better? And by that, I mean is,
if you say reps, so help me God.
no, I'm not going there. What I'm looking at here is potentially bringing more people in. And that is putting ads in papers. We already have articles in the paper about us, putting a few ads in, getting more top talent in, expanding our quarterback pool, maybe potentially charging a minimal fee. You get your own, you get your own flags, you get your own shirt, whatever it is. And we make Jew Ball a little more official, because I think there's a lot of football talent out there that don't know about us. And I think even some of the Tuesday night crowd may even join us eventually at some point. I'm just saying that if we could just, again, we're talking about expanding Jew Ball bigger and better, 6 teams potentially next year. If the quarterbacks fall the way they do, I'm looking at saying, I don't know, like, Logan, you make that point all the time. We don't have enough players to even field 4 teams. We might need more players.
No, we have enough players. They just don't show up.
But I'm saying you may need some more people in. And I'm saying like a little bit, $25, $50 buy-in will make people more invested in Jew Ball. So I think make Jew Ball bigger and better. Have a little buy-in for Jew Ball. Maybe get people more attached to Jew Ball. So you have the consistency in the leagues. Maybe people will just sign up for leagues. We're not signing up for non-league weeks. But I think just adding more talent to the pool. Dave, I'll start with you. What do you think?
I love that this is like you're acting like this is the first time you've heard this question.
No, it's
You're like,
not.
oh, that's a good one, BJ.
because he's on the fence because he doesn't want to agree with me, but he agrees with the idea.
I've been trying so hard this season not to be on the fence, but
It's a
I
pretty decent
really
job.
am on the fence for some things that you said, and some things I think you've just gone like.
That's the definition of on the fence.
Did you get upstairs into the cabinets before the show?
I did.
Listen, well, obviously, yes. There is the idea that if you make Jubal bigger and better, then obviously better is better. But if you make it bigger, that doesn't necessarily make it better. And like you said, adding more talent means that, let's say, you'll have guys like Storm drafted in the 6th, and you'll have guys that'll fall again, and you'll have guys that'll get upset. So you have to find the perfect balance. And, Jordan always says that I'm GMing, trying to bring more guys in. He goes, listen, eventually you're not going to have a spot. So there's that balance you have to figure out. While I do agree that possibly a buying might make more people more committed to the league games to show up to, whatever the reason is. Teams have injuries, teams have rescheduling problems. But if people have to buy in, that takes away from Jubal, the essence of Jubal, the way it started. The whole thing that was free and that we try to stay away from the making to pay. So I'm really on the fence of how do you grow without compromising the heart of Jubal? And it's a tricky question, and I'm just happy I'm not the commissioner and I don't have to deal with it.
Oh, Logan,
Yeah.
Logan, I see the smile on your face. You're about to attack us, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I think it's a terrible idea. I mean, like when you think about like the bread and butter of Jubal, where Jubal started, how it was a pickup game. Then it got to it was just guys showing up playing football. That's at the essence of Jubal. That's what it is, right? Guys showing up and playing football, guys who enjoy each other's company. Now, I'm not opposed to opening up Jubal and adding talent. So, whether that means inviting a handful of people or more than a handful of people from the Tuesday League or whatever it is, like that's totally fine. Every year, right? This year we had the Open and Dachs and we had that class last year. We always add people. So I'm not against adding people, right? It's only better for Jubal. Good people make good Jubal.
Yeah.
But I think the idea of making it so official, like if you want to play in a league, go play in the Tuesday night league. You know what I mean? Like leagues for Jubal for me is the icing. It's not the cupcake. And while some people only eat the icing, at the end of the day, a cupcake is not a cupcake if you're only looking at icing. So, if you want people to be more committed, I actually think the answer to that is to have a more formatted schedule. So it's a lot more predictable. So for example, maybe if we made league weeks the first Sunday of every month, this way, going into it, okay, I have to block that date off, as opposed to the 16th here, the 27th there, the 3rd that it's a lot more predictable. So I think a more predictable schedule, or setting a schedule before the draft even happens, and people saying, yes, I can commit to four games there or 5, whatever it is. I think that is the answer to making teams and leagues a little bit more legitimate and making sure that you have games. And again, you add people, you also add talent, and you add more players who can play on the teams. But making people pay, we're here for the fun of it. We're not looking to make. We're not selling. We're not getting refs. We're not getting permits. We've been fine without those. We've survived for 20 plus, more than that, years without permits, without refs. We've made it this far. The flags either get donated or people buy their own. Or again, t-shirts are nice, but we can all buy our own t-shirts. That's not what Jubal needs. I just think it kind of it muddies the water and it in my opinion takes away from Jubal if we go down that route. Oh, sorry. One last thing. Also, fortunately, $50 for a year is something that I can probably front. But if there were people who can't afford that, I don't know what the number is, but you don't want anyone to feel excluded because they're making a decision about whether or not they can make it. So I think when you start adding dollars and things like that, you start tentatively being a little bit more exclusive as opposed to inclusive, and I think that again is not in what the spirit of Jubal is.
The problem is that if you don't grow in business, if you don't grow, you'll get passed. Everyone's going to pass you. Now, obviously, I don't know who's passing us because there's nothing like us, but Jubal is growing, and we have to figure out a way how to, I don't want to say contain it, but to expand it properly.
But wait, you don't know. I said, I don't know. How do we not contain?
So,
not say contain it, but expand it. Those are
So
opposites.
Meaning like when I not contain it, meaning not to just let it loose and just grow every way, but to expand it properly,
So,
meaning to
I wanna-
hone in on the expansion.
I want to give some context here, and I think this is. I think people are thinking PJs is crazy for bringing this topic up, but maybe let me give you some context. You know, we're not getting younger, and if you look at the vet team, no, it's true. Look at the vet team. I think a lot of these guys have at least another 3, 4, 5 good years left, right? I'm looking at Jubal and saying to myself, I want guys like Zid in 20 years from now being like, and when he's commissioner, whatever he is for Jubal, I want him being like, yeah, like I remember the days, and I remember when Jubal got even bigger and even got him better, and like we had him this talent and that talent, like every year we kept adding more talent. People knew about us, and like more people added to the chat, and like, yeah, listen, I don't want to lose what we have, which is great, but the dark ages wasn't that long ago, where there was basically no games for 5 years.
No, not that one.
Whatever the years were, but not consistently enough for 5 years, because you had the 1 year that you were in Croton. But I'm just saying that there was some. It was tough. It was some tough times, right? I don't think we're there. But my fear is that when a lot of the people graduate, people are going to get older. People are going to have more kids. You already see Bop had basically everyone Bop had a baby this year. So when you look at that, I mean, people are going to get busy. We've had a lot of injuries this year. Also, I mean, we don't want anyone getting hurt, but it's the reality. People do get hurt. Some people don't get hurt playing football. They get hurt outside of football, but that impacts them as well. So my thought process here is, like I said, people don't know about Jubal. You can't just putting an article in with Lauren Curran is not going to get people to know about Jubal. What you want to do is you want to make yourself more expose yourself, and send it your ideas. Send your ideas. But you also want people to know that, hey, listen, it's not a free. Maybe for people already in Jubal, you don't have to pay. But maybe it's something where people come in, where that you buy in.
Yeah, this sounds really much like a cult.
Yeah, it's literally a Ponzi scheme or something. Like,
look, but again, you're paying
$100.
No. You're getting you're getting your money's worth. You're getting flags. You're getting a shirt. You're getting something, right?
Right.
But you're buying into what we stand for.
Yeah.
And that is looking out for one another. Yeah. And that's having camaraderie. I'm just saying, my fear is that you just don't want people like we've had. Like I remember the dark ages. People were on an email list who just ignored it. Like you want people who are invested and bought in. And my fear is that 4 or 5 years from now, when a lot of us have graduated because physically or just life, you can't play anymore. Jordan can make Aliyah for all we know. Mighty might retire in a couple of years. Like Singer might retire in a couple. Like we just don't know a lot of our top talent and what they're going to be. You just don't want to lose what's great because we're living through it now and it's awesome. But you have to think forward. And I think that's kind of what David was trying to say. Like you have to think forward. If you're not looking to improve and you want to stay status quo, you're going to decline. It's like the mushal in life, in Torah, like the famous ladder expression, right? You're either going up or you're going down. You're never staying stagnant.
Yeah, I just think that we've been able to grow classes organically, right? Like you think like Waldo and Ernie, last year, Waldo and Ernie, like Bert, like we were able to add between 4 and 6 or 8 people every single year, somewhat organically without having to put out ads, like, word of mouth. And again, things like that. Again, now that we've got the Tuesday league, which kind of like feeds in, let's call it the NCAA league that leads into Jubal. But I'm just like, but we also I agree with you. If let's say we stayed flat for a couple of years and had no new blood, at that point, I agree with you. Maybe you start looking outside sources.
But there are also a bunch of sorry, David. There's also a bunch of guys who have not played this year. Guys who injuries and I don't want to point people out because maybe people don't want that highlighted. But I can think of someone on the top of my head right now who has not played in 3 or 4 months. And
miss him.
Yeah, we do miss him. So yeah, Dave, what you were going to say?
We have been so lucky the last couple seasons that we have been able to hand select our rookie classes, meaning we don't, people just randomly coming like, oh, and like, who's this guy? Who's this person? Like, we've been able to select people that we think are Jubal material that fit in. And really, honestly, truly, they have. In past, there are people that have came in that, don't really talk to chat, wouldn't come to the barbecue, wouldn't do this. These guys have bought in, they drink the full Kool-Aid. I mean, Ernie and Bensi, like you said, they were big contributors of Bert. I'm saying, but Ernie and Bensi for the barbecue. Yeah. This year's class, you're talking about like what? You have the top 4 guys of this class are like the top 4 front runners for MVP and Rookie of the Year. You know, it's just like we've been able to select, and we've been, you know, like not to toot our own horn, but we've gotten really great guys. So we have to figure out this mesh and this blend, not just bringing in random Tuesday night guys, but bringing in the right guys. And I think that's what's gonna keep Jubal alive. And look, in 10 years, I hope that it's thriving.
I think this conversation and you know who's run into Jubal or whatnot, it probably brings us to our next guest or our first guest tonight.
Making his first appearance, another first for Jubal this season. It's the man who's taken Jubal by a storm, not storm, calm down there. And he's leading the league in rushing. He's one of the top quarterbacks in Jubal. He's leading the top team in leagues. Coming into TBI is welcome to TBI. Wow.
What's
Who
going
never
on?
thought it?
I was totally muted, was I?
Yeah, no, we didn't hear a thing. We didn't hear a thing, Sam. Talk to us.
You would think after 3 years of Zoom I would get it right, but nope.
It's all good. All right, listen, this is the general question we always ask our guests. We'll jump right into it. You've played in football in different leagues. Your first exposure to Jubal was over the summer, where you were quite upset about the 7-on-7 business. Compare the life of Jubal to other football you played.
Definitely a little bit different. Obviously more physical. I definitely
love it,
did
yeah.
not. I wasn't so anti the 7-on-7. I was more anti, 4 wide receivers. You know, like the old, like the old Aviator. We used to play 7s, 2 dead linemen and a tight end, but still 3 receivers. This was probably the first time in 15 years I played with 4 receivers. So I remember, like in the beginning, I didn't know what to do with the last guy, because like all my routes, all my plays, everything's based on 3 receivers. And then I was like in the huddle, okay, you go here, you go here, and you just, I don't know, just get out, go deep.
That's why I was
hang in
always
the-
running a fly. Logan, go for a fly, run a fly.
Exactly. But obviously, after playing, a few months worth, I definitely got used to it. But that was probably the biggest difference, meaning seeing 7 in the defense, that wasn't so complicated. It was more just that 4th receiver.
Interesting. So I paint a scenario for you, and I'd love to hear your feedback. So you're playing in leagues, so extra points are going to count. A league game, let's say championship game. It's 4th and goal from the 5-yard line. You're down 5 points. Tell everyone why you're throwing to Zinn.
Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. Well, if you know my offense, I don't know if any of you guys played in my offense. We'll get into the huddle. We'll call, somebody to be the number 1 on that play, but everyone knows it's very likely that they could get the ball. Everyone's ready. I always tell my guys, like, I get to we'll make a play call, and then I'll get to the line and I'll see, hey, that's not covered. I'm gonna go to my B or even my C on certain plays. So sometimes, hey,
Not the D. No,
He doesn't do the D.
D doesn't exist.
He's going to tight end before he's going to D.
He's not about that D.
Yeah.
Yeah, D is just run home.
But anyway,
But,
Continue, please.
yes. So basically, so imagine a scenario like we call, let's say, I'll either call to, let's say, my brother or Zim. We'll call a quick little slant. But if the second I get to the line, I see a safety hovered over and taking that play, I'm going to my other routes. And everyone knows in the huddle, like, you can get the ball. Like some plays, with other quarterbacks, it's that one guy or not, and you'll see he'll just throw it in double coverage. I'm like, if you're gonna double, you're gonna take away my number 1. I'll just go to my number 2, my number 3. That's why, like, if you see our games are roll tide, it's not just heavy Zinn and Morty. Everyone gets the ball. I think, like even the last game, we had receptions to legs, stats, Ernie, Waldo, Morty, Zinn. Morty didn't have any touchdowns and we put up 35 points. I mean, it's not always about, going to 1 or 2 guys. It's a lot of it's more like, you're going to take away X, we'll go Y. We play smart football. That's what we love to do. So to answer the question, 4th and 5, we're going to the most open receiver.
I
All
like
right,
that.
I like that.
You know, I really hate that all these Roll Tide are so politically correct. They're like, we're all about the team.
But it's true. It's true.
No,
Think
that's
about it.
because they're all like Gen Z or whatever the young generation is. They're politically correct. They don't use pronouns. Like, that's who they are. It makes perfect sense. No, I get that.
But,
I get that.
You know, it's like such like just I'm getting the ball. Just give it to me.
But why don't we rewind a little bit? This has been a while since this happened, but and if you don't remember, that's totally understandable. But let's go back to draft night,
Yeah,
right? So
that's a good point.
you knew you were going to get your brother in the third round, I believe.
Yep.
You had never played on the same
Still.
team as Zin, but you maybe saw it.
Right,
Maybe
Zin-
you saw you played against him, I think.
Right.
or-
Open revealed that you didn't play with Open his second pick
Right,
also.
yeah.
Like Open revealed that also. Like you guys never played together.
Yeah.
But your
Never,
first two
not once.
and your first two picks were Zin and Open.
Yeah, so just walk us through, like, obviously
The thought
you were
process.
picking last in each round, but like walk us through like how you saw it
Your
and
intel.
how that, yeah.
What was the intel? What was the scouting report? Like how did you know those are two guys to target?
So obviously, I never played with Zin, but I heard so much about him going in, and we already knew at that point that we're going to start playing Tuesdays. So even though I didn't get to see him play at all, I knew that we were going to build chemistry right away. We're just going to play a lot of ball together. So, but honestly, I really thought he was going to go 3 to Yaron. So, I probably would have taken Open at 4 anyways, because I've seen Open play and I know he's a monster O-line. He was definitely undervalued in the draft. But thankfully,
That was your
the
fault.
cards, thankfully the cards fell that way. I was able to go Zin, right? It was Zin, Open, Morty, and then Legs in the 4th steal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all
if I
good.
don't win
Yeah,
any,
great.
if I don't win any awards, GM of the year, easy. Just
Well,
that
if you don't
draft.
win any awards, then
Yeah.
I can't give you GM of the
Yeah,
year.
and,
You
and if
won
you,
the
and if you
championship.
don't win the championship, you don't get the GM of the year. But listen,
But he could win all of the awards.
that's true. Roll Tide are rolling, right? You're 4-1. I believe, and this can be fact checked at any point. I believe this is the best record any team has had in leagues. That's the number 1 seed. We've never had an undefeated team, but I believe this is the best.
I think Cronies were 4-1-1.
Right.
So,
So
I
again,
don't know, maybe
but,
it's the
but I
same,
think, but I think maybe potentially the same. But 4-1 best record. Had there been
Wait,
a
Top Guns doesn't have the best record.
all right. The point is that did you anticipate this team just rolling the way they have? And I know you're probably going to say competition's been tough, but the margin of victory has been close to 30 points the last 4 games. So just talk us through that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised, honestly. I think top to bottom, we're the best roster. I mean, we're stacked. Whether that was, just drafting well or just, everyone's really just buying in, and the talent on our team is just fully loaded. Like, there's really no weakness, and I love the unselfishness on a lot of the guys. Meaning, you get to the huddle, it's not somebody being like, "Hey, give me the ball." Everyone knows they're getting the ball. It's just sometimes what's open is open, and everyone really bought in. And you come to our huddles, it's boom, 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 plays, quick throws, quick. We just demolish. We pound, we attack, we're smart. So honestly, not really, because as long as we're playing our brand of football, it's pretty much unstoppable. And honestly, what I'm the most surprised about is our defense. Our defense has been outstanding. Guys like Waldo and Ernie really just like players who maybe didn't circle on the score sheet to be like top defenders. They're just solidifying. We knew we had stats, we knew we had legs open, but these guys just making the defense rock solid, turnovers, and we're not just winning by putting up 40 points. We're giving up 6-12 points max.
Yeah.
So we're really dominating on both sides of the ball. Like Zin on defense is just phenomenal. My brother's playing outstanding defense. So you put that along with our offense, it's just they turn into 42-6, games. And for that type of recipe, hey, I know the playoffs is going to get gritty and tough and physical, but
even more physical.
Yes.
Even more physical. But the way we play,
A guy almost died on the
that-
field last year in the playoffs. So there you go.
Oh, Brian.
Who, you?
Yeah.
Nice. I don't think you got the same coverage as Damar Hamlin, though.
No, I did
Very
not.
sad.
And they played the game, and they continued the game also. We won't get into that right now.
Listen, you talked about your team buying in, and I know there was some controversy who brought you to Jew ball, who scared you away from Jew ball. We're not a cult, but
Yeah.
have you drank the Kool-Aid of Jew ball yet?
Well, he's on
I took some
TBI.
taking some sips. I
By
mean,
the way,
Yaron,
as a
Yaron
note,
almost.
if Davo handed you the Kool-Aid, don't drink it.
Yeah.
It's just
Well,
so
well,
you know.
1 second, or at least make sure there's a label.
Yeah.
Right. I listen. Yaron did scare me. I think he sent me like one WhatsApp that was, I don't know, maybe it was about 7 Megillas long. I was like, yeah, out.
Wait, he texted you in a huddle?
He texted me the play.
Right.
That was like, I was like, like down, but like this seems a little bit whatever. But then it turns out it's it's definitely has that culty feel, but it's much more chilled. It's just guys playing football, guys balling, and that's fun, And then all the extras are great also. So, but it wasn't as intense as that. I'm telling you, if you guys see that message, what I'm saying, you would run away now.
So TBI special.
Wait. We hope to see that message one day.
It'll
It's
make,
over.
I'm sure it won.
Until I
one
run
party
in a
coming up.
memory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just send it to the wizard. That's all you need to do.
He'll put it somewhere on the website.
So, something we always we ask a lot of our guests, and I think that's because I think we have a lot of people this year who have outside perspectives, have played in many different leagues, have played in many different games. So, like, what can we do better? Not TBI. Not the answer is nothing to that. But what can Jew ball do better? Whether leagues or regular season or regular Jew ball weeks, like what can we do better?
Well, we're not changing the 4 wide receivers format.
No,
That's
stop that.
sticking. I do. I mean, I know like a lot of people in Jew ball don't love leagues. I personally think we need more league games. Those games are just the best. They're just between the competitiveness and whether we need to have more teams play, but there's no reason why we can't have a game every other week to be a league week. I know because we really want to have even the people not in the leagues be able to play, but they're just look throughout the season, the best games are the league games. It's just competitive. You have all the talent all there on the field, and to have go up to like maybe 8-9 league games would be awesome.
All right, last one for me, because you brought it up. Obviously, more teams. Who's a better quarterback, you or the younger Dachs that apparently we've been hearing about? And can we get him to get a team next year? Possibly.
His name's Cooper, right?
Well, right now he lives in Israel, so we'll see when he comes back. But he's good. He's got some skills.
Wow.
And then there's another one who's playing outstanding D-line in Israel. So he's coming also.
Is he built like the other Dax brothers?
He's small also, but he's just got like that speed edge, and he's racking up sacks.
Oh, Davo.
Yeah. So we have a nice mix. If we have an all Dax team, we'll take you down.
You'd be short too.
Yeah. All right, listen, it's ironic that when we had your brother on, we did this whole little shtick where we're all upset at each other, right? So here you got and he had no clue what was going on, but here you get a cohesive.
When you say shtick, we weren't. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, we were faking it. Right. Yeah.
So
Not used to being faked.
Yeah.
So the point being here, the point being here is that we're happy that at least we have one Dax in a cohesive, very warm environment. We thank you for coming on. We thank you for sipping a little more of the Kool-Aid. And best of luck to you, man. This week in Vets versus Rooks. Obviously, you got the juniors, the sophomores versus the freshmen. Good luck in that game, and obviously, good luck in your first round matchup. I think you got the Top Guns.
No,
in your first
don't wish him
round.
good luck in that. He'll need it, but
I think this is our third game against Top Guns. Like, they're so happy.
Dax, great having you on. Thanks again.
Take care. See you guys.
Big up, man.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Really?
Wow, like I'm shocked. I didn't really think he'd come on TBI. Yeah, kind of had like when you first meet him, and I like him. He's a great guy, but he kind of has that like I'm too cool for school type of attitude. Not that he is like that at all, but he kind of gives that kind of off. And like the fact that he came on TBI, like that's like his brother like was a lot easier, like to think he'd come on, but like Swirly right away was like, sure, I'll come on, no problem. Like I loved it. Like that was a great interview, and thanks for coming on.
I really got to read that text.
Yeah,
I know.
That's what I want.
That text.
I want that text.
Speaking of you reading, why don't you read us off some 3 stats in?
Oh,
Where do we sit? Where are we sitting? I feel like
No, I think we're gonna
we're gonna have a fresh
start again.
Here we go.
Each
Champ-
week's a new week.
I've gone from under 500. I think last week I ended up at 500.
We tied last week.
Yeah, I let chance for me to go over 500 this week. Here we go. I love it.
Trending that way, right?
Well,
there you go.
know, that's all I could ask for.
3 Stats In is brought to you by the letter S this week.
And the number 3.
3 questions. Okay, obviously, the questions always try to get harder, but we're gonna try to throw some curveballs in this week.
Is there a theme this week?
Well, the letter S.
Letter S.
So not only is it the letter S.
Could be Sam. Could be Singer.
I'm going to tell you who it is. It's 3 questions about 3 quarterbacks that all start with S. They're all 3 quarterbacks.
All right, let's think about it. We got Shalom, Shy, and Surly.
Sam. Well,
Surly.
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 Certainly, you guys are correct. Now, obviously, to make it fair to Perla and to Dax, we're only going to take Prager's rookie season as they too are both in their rookie season.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
We'll start off easy. Which one of these quarterbacks had the most sacks in the rookie season?
Wait, you don't mean you mean like they were sacked?
No,
They got sacks.
they got a sack or sacks.
So it's one
Of these 3,
of these 3
these
who got
three.
one.
I mean, it's got to be Prey.
It's not Dax. He doesn't play
It's Prey.
defense.
It's Prey.
Yeah, Prey's staring at me, but I don't know why I feel like Pearl has played the line before.
I'm going Prey.
I'm gonna go Perla just because it's fun.
The answer is Perla. He had 1 sack. Trey and Dax both had 0 sacks.
Well, yeah.
And that was Prey's rookie year. He had no sacks.
Again, a stat S sacks works.
Oh, snap.
Ah, I see what you did there.
Now we're gonna make it a little bit harder.
That's what she said.
Which one of these quarterbacks?
Again, those 3.
Correct. And this is to date, so obviously they haven't finished their season, so it can change.
Okay.
But which one of them to this point has the best touchdown to interception ratio?
Now, is that so? 2 questions. Number 1 is, do rushing TDs count in this ratio? No, purely passing.
passing.
Number 2 is, again, this is Prager's rookie year.
Correct.
So not got it.
Ooh.
The best touchdown to interception ratio. As much as
I'm going Dax.
if you're going Dax, I'm gonna go Perla again because I know that this year Perla's got a better TD to interception ratio than Dax does. I don't know about Prager back in the day, but I gotta go with Perla again.
The answer is Perla.
Yeah,
Wow.
for 2 guaranteed to go over 500. I'm going with Prager. Next question.
You sure? You need
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Well, I guess I've never gotten perfect, so let's see what I can do.
Okay.
All right, 2 for 2. Oh wait, do you think it would be Perla? Like, you think he'll just do 3 questions that are all Perla?
Listen,
It's fine.
next season's coming up. We already got to think about draft prospects.
All right, 3rd question, the
Third-
hardest. Dun dun dun.
That's what she said.
Just stop for a second. We should.
No, it's fine. It
No
doesn't make a
big
difference. Doesn't affect the recording.
I know, but just okay.
Okay.
All right, 3rd question, the hardest.
Which one of these quarterbacks has or had the most rushing touchdowns?
Oh, Dax. Oh.
Dax has 7 this year.
Ooh,
or
wait,
something
I
like
gotta go
that.
back to Prey
But
now.
Prey, right? It's not
Prey's
Perla.
rookie
So I
year.
know it's not Perla. Prey's rookie year, he
Oh.
was very all like
He
was
ran it. He didn't.
a lot.
Yeah, he ran it a lot. Oh, I gotta go Prey.
So hold on. So let's
Dax
think.
has got 8 this year. Did Prey have more than 8 his rookie
Prey
year?
played a lot of both.
And Prey played a lot of receiver. You know what? I'm changing my mind. I'm going Dax.
Let's see. There were 20 weeks.
He was our
Let's
guest
say
this
he
week.
played 30. Let's say he played 30
Played
games.
21 games.
I'm going Dax.
If it makes you feel better, he only had 5 receiving touchdowns. So just put that into perspective how many games he actually played a wide receiver.
I'm going Dax. I don't care.
You don't care. You give 0 S's.
I do.
Going Dax.
I'm going to
Oh
use our
my
guess of
God.
the week. I got to go
8
Dax.
is such a big number. In 21 games, did he beat 8? It's a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Prey. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Prey.
Obviously, because he's our guest, we have to give him one. The answer is Dax.
Yeah.
Prey had 6. He had a good
Wow.
run, but got to give it to Dax this week.
You won for the week.
I did. Well, I did two and one. I'll take 2 and 1.
I'll take it.
I'll take it. All right.
That is 3 stats in, and now we are 3 stats.
Out. Great job. All right, Davo. What do they have to do this week?
You have to get ready because this week's is Vets. It's not even Vets Rooks this
It
week.
is. It's vets.
It's a
Rooks.
Right.
It's,
I'm saying.
it's
It's
the
a-
tournament. It's a
a
tournament
pre-
for the right to play in Vets versus Rooks.
And it's a battle. Get ready. Prepare yourself mentally, physically, emotionally.
Spiritually, if you swing that way.
Hey, whatever way you swing, that's all we're about now. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share. We need the likes, we need the
See?
shares, and we need the
See?
subscriptions.
Now he's really
Guys,
got the
this is,
Kool-Aid.
you want Jubal to be free? We need subscribers. There's no sign up this week.
Send us your clips for expose yourself.
That's true.
Send us your playmakers. I mean, praymakers.
We want to see your nudes opinion.
Davo, what are we?
We are crazy. We are 3 balls in.
And we are now 3 balls out. Good luck, everyone.
3 balls in, then we 3 balls out. We all up on your screens like it's prime time's route.
So
That kind of makes Perlo's rookie season easy. And
I mean,
so
they're both-
Dax also.
Dax and Perla this year, and then Yaron is the year he
Well,
won
Shalom,
MVP.
Shalom.
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 what
Prager.
Oh, yeah, no. Oh, Prager. Who did I? What? I thought it was Dax.
You said your roads right.
Wait. Oh, I threw Yaron in there.
All right.
I had. Wait. Oh, it's Prager. I don't know why. I said it. Oh, Jesus. This room.
You're like convinced.
I was
You're
like,
totally, you're
I
totally
totally
convinced
I
that
can't
like
wait to watch that one back and be like, no, Yaron.
you're totally convinced that like you said it right, and I'm like trying to tell you.
No, I was like, Yaron. What are you
Yeah.
Do you really think his name is Yaronson?
your own sin.
Smartfield, isn't it?
It's a road. This is. Did they win yet?
This show's not going to get political.
Up 19.
Oh my god! Can you imagine if we did?
Jordan,
Jordan
could you imagine?
Jordan would flip.
This week on TBI, Trump's our first guest.
Yeah. Oh man, Donald, what's it like having a woman run against you? You're usually used to them running on you.
No, from you.
Oh well, I'm sorry. He pays them to run on him.
Oh, that's right.
All right. Anyways,
All right. Wait,
Listen,
gonna-
if we-
wait,
if
so
we
wait,
get-
so
if we
we're
get-
re-
if we get Donald on, we also get Storm on.
no, we're not going
Stormy
to
Daniels.
Stormy.
Yeah, Stormy.
It's funny. You called Stormy, and now you call it Stormy Storm. All
Well, I didn't know if I didn't want to say it again. And then
right.
The fresh class, the soft class. You got the junior class and the senior class, and here you are.
the soft class.
Here it is.
They're
It's ironic how the older guys are not the soft class.
Yeah.
Still, like, it is what it is.
We have the letter S, and we have 3 S's. We have the 3 quarterbacks.
Storm.
Oh, Logan. I get Storm off the
I
mic.
really thought we had it.
We got Perla Beast. Okay, guys, can we focus a little bit?
Waldo or Sonny.
Biggie Swallow.
Oh God, it's so good. Wait.
That would have been so good.
All right. Sam. Who's Sam?
He's the guy that makes like the fakes, you know.
Oh, that's right. Oh, it's Prime's kid. He's never been on. I see audio check. Video. You know this is a video show, right? Like it's not.